Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'll start with introductions, and selfishly, I'll start with myself. I'm Ed Rogov, Chief Marketing Officer of Quince. That's the all good. Me? Okay. So, oh, please put on your headphones. Is everybody? Cool. Okay, so yeah, Quince, the newest affiliate marketing software. We have Matt Wilson with us here, CEO of Bull Street. Yeah, and I'm gonna give some time for you to introduce yourselves, and we have Tobias Svensen here. You're also CEO, right? Yeah, CEO of Casino Mart. And yeah, I'm just gonna pass the mic and let you introduce yourself, because you probably know more.
Hi, I'm Matt. First things first, did they get the Guinness World Record? Did that happen? Because that seems to be quite a big thing around here. So well done if you participated in that. Yeah, so I run a business called Ball Street Network. We've been going for about 7 years now. We're ultimately involved in video, social media, building communities in and around football, sport, and entertainment. So we work with lots of fan channels and big Twitter and social pages that curate football. Likes of Redmen TV, Arsenal Fan TV, things like that. I don't know if you guys are aware of those. And what we do is we ultimately help tell stories for brands in a social space, leveraging the audience that we own and that we have within our network. So one of the things that we're doing right now is actually trending on Twitter today with Paddy Power. So that's the kind of things that we do. We leverage all the attention that we have in order to generate and tell stories for brands in social media. So I'm not your typical affiliate person that you have in this world or in this room today, but probably see things a little bit differently than most of you, but I'm more about storytelling and I guess engaging people around branded content and things like that.
Tobias?
All right. Yeah, so we work with CasinoGrounds.com, who is the largest network of casino streamers. So we create a lot of content on YouTube, Twitch, both in terms of live streaming, but also video on demand, where we take the highlights from the live streams, compile them into this sort of weekly series. So how our business operates is that we're an affiliate network based on video content at its core. So we're building this community where casino streaming is the core at CasinoGrounds.com. Today we have up towards 30 individual streamers. We actually have our founder and the main guy sitting at second row here, Kim Holtman, or Let's Give It a Spin, as his nickname is on Twitch. So our business model is essentially promoting different operators, but also game providers through these live streams we have. So that's essentially what CasinoGrounds.com is all about.
Okay, so before we move forward, I suggest that we go over the essential thing. We, for example, have plenty of clients, operators that have no idea how streaming, affiliates, and social traffic and influencer-based traffic is different from any other affiliates. What they end up doing is just spending loads of money and not understanding the topic and losing it. So if you guys give a short intro, how is it different than your classic affiliate marketing or media buying or those
I can at least speak for us. We're far from this traditional affiliate where you have usually an SEO site. Somebody stumbles upon it, click on a bonus, and that's the end of the sort of relationship there. What we do is very much we do acquisition, but we do a lot of player retention through sort of long-term partnership with various operators, and then we do a lot of building up the brand, because we're essentially live showing the products over time, giving feedback, getting feedback, and creating a long-term relationship with our audience, who is at the end of the day the player or customer. So it's a more long-term approach, which reflects in the player value, the loyalty among our users, and so on.
As people here use influencer marketing, like maybe a show of hands or something like that, people that have actually used it before. Okay, so influencer marketing is really different to anything that we've ever sort of had before, in that the mobile phone is allowed people as ordinary as me to start to build an audience and essentially become a media company just by talking passionately about a subject matter. Could be a football team, it could be streaming a video game or your casino play on Twitch, could be talking about teapots, I don't know, right? It could be anything. If you talk about that, there's people out there that also like that same subject matter. They'll probably start to follow you, and then you've ultimately got yourself a little media company, and you can start to venture into all kinds of ways of making money, be it merchandise, be it also sort of working with brands. And so this whole disruption in technology that's been happening really in gathering pace over the last few years just means that there's now millions of people out there that are actually influencers. There might be a small micro influencer, or you can have people that have got millions of people that are a huge influencer. So I think it's quite a difficult area to really get your head around, especially if it's not something that you've been in from the start, because it's quite easy to look at that and think, well, that's a big audience there, therefore that's the best people to be working with. And it doesn't always work like that, because actually people can have quite a small audience, but that audience can be super connected and it could be great value for you in that regard. I mean, I myself, I talk a bit about business and sport on LinkedIn. Not like I'm huge or anything like that, but I've actually worked with BP and done a few branded videos with them that have been worth quite a lot of money. Albeit my company takes all the money, so I don't get to see it. But that just goes to show you that actually there's people out there that are passionate about things that can generate a lot of cash because people follow them and are interested in what they're doing. So these are influencers, and this is influencer marketing. And there's all kinds of ways that you can work with those people to leverage that audience and generate gains against your business objectives, whatever that business may be.
So at this point, what difficulties would you point out in terms of influencer marketing? Maybe there are specific regulations on any platforms or any obstacles that you're currently, well, yet to avoid and overcome at this point.
I mean, I can talk for ourselves. We do a lot of our business on Twitch and YouTube, and obviously, these platforms separately has quite advanced, not too specific terms of use connected to them, and these are also sort of changing quite rapidly. So there's this effort that needs to be done to make sure you're on top of your game, you're understanding how they actually follow up on these terms and conditions and use it and so on. So it's an ever-changing market in that sense. However, if you put a bit of an effort into it, which is in our example, we represent 30 streamers, so we can actually afford to put somebody in charge of compliance per se. But if you're an individual trying to make it within this niche or category, you're going to have a hard time dedicating enough time or resources to truly understand these somewhat complicated regulations.
I think that's like a really good point there, Tobias, and because Tobias's background, he was actually like a gamer. He was telling me beforehand, so he was playing Counter-Strike as a young teenage lad, and was I guess around at a time where things started to take off. So he really understood and understands what it's like to be a streamer, and therefore how that works. And I think that is a broad point for people to take on board, is that you have to understand the culture and the culture of the influencers, the culture of the subject matter around the influencers. So sport is different to beauty, and even within each of those things, there are different types of subcultures that exist within it. And really, you need to get a guide and someone that understands it. So that's why Tobias is the perfect guy when it comes to streaming on something like Twitch, because he's been there and he's done it. He understands what the audience is looking for, and therefore he has an understanding of what authenticity looks like. Because a lot of people start to see the attention that the people like influencers have, and therefore they think, all right, cool, I will just roll in with my affiliate model of whacking a logo and a link on everything, and I'll assume that's going to work. And it doesn't. You have to kind of, it's horses for courses. It's about understanding the nuances of each platform, because Twitter is different to Instagram, which is different to YouTube, which is different to Snapchat, etc. The audience is in a different state of mind when they're on these different platforms. So it's not as simple as having like a one-size-fits-all approach to it. So I think that's probably you agree with that, Tobias? Is that
Yeah,
fair?
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about you a bit, so I just want to check that you're cool with that.
No, but I think the core to really to get the value out of your traffic is trust. You need to obtain trust to knowledge, and people, especially with the live stream, but any kind of content you produce, especially video, people tend to quite easily pick up whether you're an expert or you're pretending to be an expert. They will follow you over a longer period of time, and if you slip up through by being not genuine or not honest or not knowledgeable, people will notice, recognize this immediately. And it takes one slip up to really destroy that image, while it takes a long period of time to build it up. So I think to be genuine in that sense, when you're building your follower base, your community, and so on, the transparency, honesty is key to build the trust you need to get the influence you need over your audience. And once you have that, they will follow you in terms of what kind of services or products you're using or showcasing, because they genuinely believe you. And I think to succeed, especially in our niche with casino streaming, this is what separates the ones that are successful, the ones that deliver, and those who don't.
So when you attract these people in the communities, as it said, you search for high quality traffic. What are the KPIs in streaming? Like, it's probably a little different than your classic affiliate marketing. How do you drive quality traffic to your community?
Well, I can speak for myself at least. I mean, if you're a person, we don't do any marketing ourselves, which means that we're not buying ads or similar activities. So the people that find our content have at some point or are actively searching for something casino related on Twitch or YouTube. And by default, if you're looking for this kind of content, you will, in 9 out of 10 cases, gamble yourself or enjoy gambling. So by just that detail, you automatically get a very attractive audience. And if you're willing to spend, let's say, 1 to 10, 20 hours a week consuming gambling content, you are most likely a valuable player by default. So we have a very good demographic in that sense, because the people that finds us are actively looking for casino content, and we're the best at creating that.
I think that if you're going to elicit value from a community, you need to go into that community giving before you receive. That's one of the important rules. So if you just go in and start saying, "Oh, here's my offer, check it out," um, people are probably, it's just going to go past people, because millennials and people that exist in a social space, you have to pull them into a conversation. They don't like to be pushed. They don't like adverts. That's why they press skip and things that look like adverts. People have got their filters and their guards are up for that. So you've got to pull them into conversations first of all and facilitate that community by giving them something and giving them an opportunity to do something they already enjoy. And I'll give you a live example of that that's been running for the last couple of weeks that we're doing with Unibet. So Unibet have got a blog, a football blog, and they write content because they know that their audience are interested in football, so they create some content around. It's all a part of their funnel, obviously related to CRM and for people to be happy. So what we've done with Unibet is we've used lots of our big fan channels, like Arsenal Fan TV, like the United Stand, like Redmen TV. These are big channels, so they'll generate 100,000, 200,000 views a video pretty much on every network. So what we've done is we have, rather than just go in and say, "Oh, here's a Unibet code, do you want to take a bet?" which nobody would do. What we've done is we've gone in and we've got our different creators to create content around that's talking about some of the stuff that's on the Unibet blog, and then saying, "This is something you should check out. It's a really interesting article for this reason." We've also leveraged some of these guys on these channels to write content themselves, predicting certain things to do with football, like who should be the signing that their team should make, or someone they should get rid of. So it's something that that audience, which is not a small audience, already gives a shit about. And they put that article on the Unibet blog, we talk about it, and then we give people the opportunity. We don't just force that message in there. We kind of, they approach the community, they add value, and then they take people over there. And we asked Unibet to write the KPIs, and we doubled those KPIs in 4 days, because they were doing it by our rules, which is to add value to that community and to engage them in a subject matter they already care about, add value, and then people will actually start to go over because they appreciate you rather than you just bombarding them with adverts that they haven't asked for. if that makes sense.
I think it's an extremely valid point to give value before you can extract it. I mean, it's been the core of every marketing promotion thing we've done since the beginning. Either they get some kind of exclusive offer through signing up through us. If we promote a game provider, we have giveaways, we have trips in a prize pool, and so on. So we always make sure that for everything we make money on, we make sure that the audience, the players actually get significant value out of the deal as well. Because there's no doubt from the audience point of view, they understand we make money from this, but we need to sort of justify that by giving them advantages or things they wouldn't get elsewhere to make up for that fact and be able to be open, transparent, and honest about that part. And because we've done this sort of consistently since day one, people don't really care that we make money off it because they get a better experience. They get more values in their offers or giveaways or whatever.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that like a lot of the data that we've seen, and you can just tell by watching comments on videos, etc., is that nowadays millennials, especially, they understand that influencers are going to do things for money. They do. They don't mind that's part of the value exchange for getting their content for free, etc. People do understand that. They almost, though, judge the creators and the brands on their ability to make that content good. So they actually, we've got a channel called XO. It's got about 750,000 subscribers on YouTube. It's a hybrid using like 4 big influencers, a guy called True Geordie, Stephen Tries, and Will and E being 3 of them. And we've done deals with the likes of Beats, EA, Fortnite, and actually the Dollar Shave Club and people like that. And the audience is, they're not going, I'm pissed off that there's an advertiser here. They're actually going, that's an amazing skit. That's actually a product that I'm going to buy now because that's really entertained me. So it's not about just kind of worming yourself in and trying to be in an environment where the audience is and hoping you catch their eye. You can actually break the fourth wall and be quite upfront about the fact that that an advertiser is involved. But you've got to do so in a way that's actually good. That the creative is now becoming one of the variables for success.
So it seems you can also use it for retention, sort of. So the classical affiliate would just send the player and forget about him. Well, as long as they're getting the rev share. But with the community, I guess you can do a bit more, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the big differences among the casino streamers. Some will negotiate high CPA or only CPA deals, take their existing sort of viewer base and move them around between a lot of operators, which is why a lot of the ones inexperienced in evaluating these deals get a bad experience the first time or first couple of times. But if you have a streamer that has a rev share only or a hybrid with the rev share as the main part, you will actually have an incentive to keep retaining these players or even reactivating those. And we do these kind of campaigns all the time. If we see one of our main partners, we can sort of do some kind of flash promo to reactivate as much as the player base as possible. So, yeah, there's various types of promotions we do with the pure, with retention as the main purpose.
Yeah, it's really interesting because the whole technology that the mobile phones brought to us and the impact it's had, I guess, on us as human beings is that we're used to instant gratification now. So if I'm hungry now, I can actually, rather than even walk around there, I can just get out my phone and I can have a pizza turn up equally. I can have a car or even a date turn up, you know what I mean, like with Tinder and stuff like that. And so actually we're used to instant gratification, but actually the real benefit on social media is it's delayed gratification. That's where the real value is. And I was actually talking to someone, I forget her name, from Adidas, and she was the one that had given me that concept initially. And it's how Adidas approach it. So they're not just trying to always put their message in front of you saying, here's some sneakers or whatever, buy it. What they're doing is that they're trying to be in and around and build an experience whereby you start to see them ultimately as their friend. So when you then decide you want to buy something or you need something, or you do see a call to action from them, you're more likely to act on that. And that's something that, like, I can't help it now. I basically, whenever I see a notification from Adidas, I'll open it. And I'll open it because they're a brand that they're not taking liberties with my time. They're adding value. They're not just trying to take something from me. So I think that delayed gratification is really important. And when you actually, if you are looking to get into influencer marketing and construct deals with people, rather than just doing, right, I'm just going to test this and do something really short and concentrated and then expect a result, it's actually about spending time trying to find the right person that's passionate about the same things that your that you are, and actually where the audience is passionate about that, and then creating long, meaningful relationships with them. Because if that influencer is promoting one casino this week, a different casino next week, a different casino the week after that, guess what? The audience start to think that this guy actually is only interested in getting me to buy into something for money. Whereas actually, if this guy talks about casinos and he uses the same product and he talks about the UX and things like that, then the audience is going to really start to believe that. So long term is always better than short term.
Okay, so we have around 2 minutes left. So with the questions or without them? We have 2 minutes left with the questions from the audience or just for us? Okay, well, that's my audience. Legislation is starting to catch up to both gambling and gambling advertising alike. So, what would you say would be the implications on social media marketing and influence marketing in gambling across white and gray markets alike?
I think they're really getting aware, especially the casino streaming, for example, has been sort of under the radar for a long time. However, recently there's been an increased attention. You have certain countries where there've been sort of media articles about it. But I can only speak for us. I mean, we've invested quite a bit in ensuring compliance across all markets, following both not only the gambling regulators, but also the advertisement requirements you have. So I'm not too worried. I'm actually welcoming it because it will mean a lot of our competition that is not as focused will go away. But yeah, it's definitely something to consider if you are considering moving into it, and ensure you're as compliant as possible.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think some of the changes around TV, so like whistle to whistle for sports betting providers, for example, makes it quite is a good thing. And actually, social media is becoming the new battleground for a lot of these things. But the one thing that they probably can't ever take away from you is your own opted-in audience. So I would be, if I were a casino or a sports book brand right now, I would be investing in building a community around my own brand, which was an audience that was opted in, that was interested in the same things that we were, and that actually restrictions around advertising wouldn't be able to take away.
Okay, guys, thank you for all of the info. Maybe we have some questions from the audience. Well, I guess we don't. Thank you.